So let's dive into step number one, identify. What are we looking for here? I would say understand that you really want to identify probably 30 to 50 CPAs. CPAs, enrolled agents, tax preparers don't discriminate initially out the gate. Just 30 to 50 accountants. And that might sound like a lot. It's actually not that hard. I'll walk through a couple tips on how to do it here. The first handful of conversations you have, especially if it's like your own CPA, your brother-in-law, your neighbor, somebody you already have a relationship with, don't even worry about trying to kind of work with them or convince them to join you in the model. Just position it as an informational interview where you're collecting data points, right? Just collecting data points. So don't judge anything on your first few conversations or meetings. If they go well, that's great. If they don't go well, that's great too. You just got to get through the first few, okay? What you're looking for specifically are either an individual shop or they're a partner with 2 to 3 partners max. Once you get above like 4 partners, there's more internal politics, so it becomes harder and harder to form that relationship. If it's a solo person and they don't even have any staff, still absolutely pursue it, but just understand it's best when they at least have 1 staff member so they can start to delegate some of the communication with clients onto that individual. As far as the type of clients that CPA has, the more business owners, the more opportunity. Even if you historically haven't worked with business owners, that's okay. As long as you don't have anything personally against business owners. Just understand the more business owners, the more opportunity. As far as the number of clients that you want a CPA to have, it's not as important as the type of clients that they have. Sometimes you have a CPA that's they got 1,000 clients. Somebody's all excited, they got 1,000 clients, but they're not really great clients because they don't have close relationships. The CPA is really just more of a tax preparing machine, and there are a lot of W-2 employees. So you'd rather have really close relationships with less clients, especially ones that are business owners or have a lot of moving pieces. And I already talked about 1 to 2 staff members. Okay. So that's the ideal type of CPA that we're looking for. I will also say, as a rule of thumb, if they're within like 3 to 5 years of retirement, it's just less likely that they're going to be willing to kind of put in the work to make any change. So usually you're going to see CPAs that are probably somewhere in that 35 to 55 age range that are going to be the most open. Now, that's a pie chart. There's always examples on both sides, but I'm just saying in general, that's probably the age range that you're looking at. As far as an elevator pitch, this was kind of the question earlier about what do you ask a CPA? Well, this is more so when you get introduced. If you're going to try to describe the way you work with or help CPAs, I'd note this down. I teach CPAs how to deliver more value to their clients by becoming more proactive and holistic. Very clean, hard to argue. What CPA doesn't want to bring more value to their client? If they don't want to bring more value to their client, you probably don't want to work with them anyways. So you're touching on the value to the client, and then you're touching on the proactive and holistic. The ideal response from a CPA by saying something like this is, and what does that mean? Or can you tell me more about that? That's what you're looking for. You actually kind of want an open-ended question like that. And then depending on the context, I most likely would say, yeah, I'd be happy to. You know what, it's probably a little bit of a longer conversation than we have time to get into right now, but I'll tell you what, why don't we look at getting together for coffee next week? Maybe 30 minutes at the Starbucks on 5th and Broadway, something like that. So it's an opening elevator pitch. They're going to want more information. We are not going to take the bait and try to sell them there and then. We're going to set up an appropriate time to have a further conversation.